Good morning, everyone. Well, today we have a bit of a milestone. We are halfway through our 8-week session of preparing you to write your Canadian citizenship test. That's right. That also means we're halfway through the study guide, which is called Discover Canada, that's going to prepare you to do amazingly well on your test. And there's no memorizing. You've worked really hard over the last 4 weeks and to retain the information. We're going to continue to work on that. So today, I want you to take your guides and we're going to do a bit on Canada's history, pages 14 and 15. And we're going to do group work today. And so the groups that we were in yesterday will be the same group. So the same group of 4 over here and the same group of 4 over here that you worked in yesterday. We're going to use a new version of a tool that we have been using all along. It's known as the KWL chart, and you're quite familiar. We all have them that we've used at most lessons, and you all have the paper copies on your desk. But today we're going to go online and use a new version, and I will list the URL is over here listed on the side board, along with all the step-by-step instructions, so that when you go into your groups and do your work, you'll know exactly what it is you need to do, and you won't need to try to remember what I was giving you for instructions. So we'll walk through it, and then for clarification and further reinforcement, it's written on the board. So what we're going to do is, it looks much nicer, doesn't it? I mean, it has some background graphics, and we can remove and put things into the chart. And at the end, what I really like about it is we're going to be able to put graphics into those 3 columns, and we're going to be able to enlarge it and print it off and put it in our resource center. So before we go any further, let's just do a little check-in. We all call it the KWL chart, but do we remember what those stand for? Because so often we use those acronyms and we don't know or remember sometimes what they mean. So Paula, can you tell me, what does the K stand for? And it's know. So what we know about something now. Correct. And Fred, can you tell me what the W stands for? Yes, it's what we want to know or learn about the subject. And then the letter L, Martha, learned. So it's what we learned. So we're going to walk through and start to populate it together as a group. And so what we know about Canada's history, this is the question I'm going to ask you is sort of a geography, but what do we know about Canada's land mass or the size of Canada? Rob. Correct, that we are the 2nd largest landmass in the world. And this will also feed into the history lesson that we're going to have. So we're going to enter that into our computer, exactly. And I also took the liberty of just adding that in that landmass, there are mountains and prairies and glaciers and coastal locations. So what I would like to show you now is if you go here and take right there, you'll see I clicked on that and I can pick a Google image. So let's just type in mountain and look what comes up. It's the city of Vancouver, and it's a coastal community. And it also has the beautiful mountains in the background. So it gives a visual, so it helps you to remember later on as we're doing some review. Great. So the next part is, what do we want to know? So can somebody offer something that they'd like to know about Canada's history? Peter. Good question. Who were the very first people who lived in Canada? So we'll put that up under our want to know. And Joan. Were there wars involved in when Canada was being settled? We'll put that as question 2. And in history, question 3. Anyone have another? Who were some of the explorers? Okay, so we'll start with that for now, those 3, and we'll move on and start to do your class assignment, because then we're going to come back and the column is what did we learn? So what I'm going to get you to do is Group A is going to read page 14, Group B 15. Now, there are about 4 or 5 paragraphs in each section. I want you all to take turns because I want you to practice not only reading, but listening and your comprehension, and also will help with your pronunciation. So I want you to take turns. John, you have a question? Oh, good question. And I forgot momentarily. You're right. There is some text under some of the pictures. You'll see here up on the sides. I want you to also to read those, so someone can take a turn reading that, because that those sections also have some information that you'll need to inform when you write your test, right? So take turns reading that. You're going to have about, I think you should be able to get that read in about 10 minutes. And then when you're done reading, just for now, just take a note paper, and I want you to write down as a group, identify 3 things amongst yourselves that you learned or were highlights, because you may have learned several things, but what were 3 key things in the reading? Also, maybe what was your favorite new thing? And to also think about graphics that would represent that, because now that we don't just have to put text, because we have this new online version, you can also pick graphics. So I want you to think those things. What did I learn? What was my favorite? What was our favorite? And think of graphics, okay? And then we're going to come back as a group, and we're going to share from each of our pages. We're going to populate that last column. And Mary Beth? Oh, no. You don't have to draw on your paper. Just think of what the graphics will be, because remember, we're going to go to the Google Images and we're going to be able to actually put the photo in, okay? So, everyone clear? Again, just highlighted here are all these different steps to make sure you cover all of the areas. I'll be walking around the room. If you have any questions, I'll help you out, and then we'll get a chance to come back and try our new resource, and at the end of the class, see what it looks like.